Bhagavathism. 1. Bhagavatism grew between which two religious extremes? Answer: Buddhism and Vedic religion. 2. What common belief did Bhagavatism share with Buddhism and Jainism? Answer: rejection of sacrificial worship. 3. What is the key idea of Bhagavatism? Answer: the worship of a supreme God. 4. In Bhagavatism, what was considered the path to salvation? Answer: intense love and devotion bhakti to God. 5. Which of the following was Bhagavatism opposed to in the Vedic tradition? Answer: animal sacrifices. 6. Bhagavatism rejected which of the following in the Vedic religion? Answer: the slaughter of animals in sacrifices. 7. Bhagavatism's religious reform was more conservative than which religions? Answer: Jainism and Buddhism. 8. What was Bhagavatism's view on sacrificial rituals and austerities? Answer: they were seen as of minor importance. 9. Which region is associated with the origin of Bhagavatism? Answer: Mathura. 10. What did Bhagavatism emphasize about the Supreme God Hari? Answer: Hari was the God of gods, to be worshipped with devotion. 11. Which group is believed to have introduced Bhagavatism in the Mathura region? Answer: Satvatas. 12. What was Bhagavatism's stance on older Vedic methods like sacrifices and rituals? Answer: they were of minor importance and could be modified. 13. Which of the following religious elements did Bhagavatism not reject? Answer: the Vedic literature. 14. Which deity is central to Bhagavatism? Answer: Vishnu Hari. 15. Bhagavatism, unlike Buddhism and Jainism, emphasized the need for which of the following? Answer: devotion to a supreme God. 16. What is the most distinctive feature of Bhagavatism compared to Buddhism and Jainism? Answer: worship of a supreme God with intense devotion. 17. What does Bhagavatism say about the role of God in salvation? Answer: salvation is possible through God's grace alone. 18. What major principle does Bhagavatism share with Buddhism? Answer: the rejection of sacrificial practices. 19. Bhagavatism arose as a religious system that was a reform of which tradition? Answer: Vedic religion. 20. In Bhagavatism, how is salvation attained? Answer: through intense devotion and surrender to God. 21. Who was Vasudeva Krishna's mother? Answer: Devaki. 22. From which clan did Vasudeva Krishna belong? Answer: Vrishni. 23. What is the primary scripture associated with Vasudeva Krishna's teachings? Answer: Bhagavad Gita. 24. According to the Chandogya Upanishad, who was Krishna a disciple of? Answer: Sage Ghora Angirsa. 25. Which of the following moral virtues did Krishna emphasize in the Bhagavad Gita? Answer: all of the above. 26. What did Krishna emphasize in the Bhagavad Gita to counteract ascetic life? Answer: the importance of doing one's worldly duties. 27. What was one of the main teachings of the Bhagavad Gita regarding religious practices? Answer: turning away from dry moral discourses. 28. What does Bhagavatism primarily focus on as paths to salvation? Answer: Bhakti, Karma, and Jnana. 29. What did Krishna's teachings counteract in terms of religious elevation? Answer: the tendency to view asceticism as essential. 30. How did the Bhagavad Gita contribute to religious reform in Bhagavatism? Answer: by combining devotion, action, knowledge, and self-sacrifice. 31. Which of the following was not emphasized by Krishna in his teachings? Answer: extreme asceticism. 32. What does the Bhagavad Gita emphasize about performing worldly duties? Answer: they are an essential part of spiritual development. 33. What is the ultimate goal of Bhagavatism according to Krishna's teachings? Answer: union with the Supreme Deity through devotion. 34. What is the nature of salvation in Bhagavatism? Answer: it is achieved through the grace of the Supreme Deity and following the path of devotion, action, and knowledge. 35. What does the term bhakti mean in the context of the Bhagavad Gita? Answer: devotion and love for God. 36. What did Bhagavatism seek to do in contrast to the ascetic traditions? Answer: encourage a balanced approach to worldly duties and spiritual practices. 37. What is one key feature of early Bhagavatism according to the text? Answer: devotion bhakti, action karma, and self-sacrifice tyag. 38. How did Bhagavatism differentiate itself from earlier Vedic traditions? Answer: it focused on devotion and personal surrender to God. 39. What does the Bhagavad Gita suggest about the pursuit of moksha? Answer: it is achieved through the combination of devotion, knowledge, and action. 40. What was one of the key impacts of Vasudeva Krishna's teachings? Answer: establishment of a new sect focused on the worship of Vishnu. Vasudeva Krishna and Bhagavatism. 41. In which text is the earliest reference to Vasudeva Krishna found? Answer: Chandogya Upanishad. 42. Which Jana text refers to Vasudeva as Kesava, a contemporary of Arishtnemi? Answer: Uttaradhyana Sutra. 43. In which work is the deification of Vasudeva first mentioned? Answer: Panini's Ashtadhyayi. 44. Which work refers to the fight between Vasudeva and his maternal uncle Kamsa? Answer: Patanjali's Mahabhashya. 45. Who was Vasudeva Krishna's brother, as per Patanjali? Answer: Balram Samkarshan. 46. Who did Aryan quote from Megasthenes regarding the worship of Heracles? Answer: the Sosanoi Surasenas. 47. What did Megasthenes' account associate with the Pandya country in the far south? Answer: the capital city Madurai. 48. Who recorded the story of an image of Heracles being carried in front of the infantry of Porus? Answer: Quintus Curtius. 49. By which time was the Vasudeva cult already spreading beyond Mathura? Answer: 2nd century BC. 50. Who was the Greek ambassador who erected a Garudadhvaja pillar in honor of Vasudeva at Besnagar? Answer: Heliodorus. 51. In which city did Heliodorus erect the Garudadhvaja pillar? Answer: Besnagar. 52. What does the Nagari inscription of King Sarvatta refer to? Answer. The worship of Somkarsholle and Vasudeva Krishna. 53. What does the Mora inscription of the 1st century AD from Mathura mention? Answer. The Pachavira's 5 heroes of the Vrishnis. 54. Which 5 heroes Pachaviras of the Vrishnis are referred to in the Mora inscription? Answer. Vasudeva, Krishna, Pradyumna, Samba, Aniruddha. 55. Which foreign region is mentioned in the Syrian legend regarding the cult of Krishna worship? Answer. Armenia. 56. By which period had Bhagavatism gained a strong presence in South India, beyond the Krishna river? Answer. Gupta period. 57. Which of the following is not mentioned in the inscriptions related to the Vasudeva cult? Answer. The worship of Shiva. 58. In what context is the name Sosanoi Surasenas mentioned? Answer. As a tribe that venerated Heracles. 59. What was the significance of the Besnagar pillar inscription? Answer. It marked the beginning of Krishna's deification. 60. What evidence from the archaeological records supports the spread of Bhagavatism? Answer. Inscriptions and pillars from Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and central India. 61. Which of the following is not one of the Pachaviras in the Bhagavatism cult? Answer. Arjuna. 62. Who were the sons of Vasudeva Krishna, as per the Pachaviras list? Answer. Pradyumna and Samba. 63. Who was the mother of Aniruddha, according to the Pachaviras list? Answer. Jambavati. 64. What does the concept of Vyuhavad refer to in Bhagavatism? Answer. The fivefold aspect of Vasudeva Krishna. 65. What is the Vyuha aspect of Vasudeva Krishna? Answer. His emanate form. 66. Which aspect of Vasudeva Krishna is referred to as his incarnate form? Answer. Vibhava. 67. In Bhagavatism, which aspect characterizes Vasudeva Krishna as the inner controller of actions? Answer. Antaryamin. 68. What does the Archa form of Vasudeva Krishna refer to? Answer. His concrete images or idols. 69. Which text is considered the first systematic exposition of the Ekantika Dharma centering on Vasudeva Krishna? Answer. Bhagavad Gita. 70. What is the primary focus of Bhagavatism's Ekantika Dharma, as seen in the Bhagavad Gita? Answer. Devotion to a single deity, Vasudeva Krishna. 71. What is the primary focus of the Vyuhavad doctrine in Bhagavatism? Answer. The creation of ideal gunas. 72. According to Vyuhavad, what are the two groups of ideal gunas in creation? Answer. Rest and action. 73. Which of the following qualities pairs together in the process of creation, according to Vyuhavad? Answer. Aishwarya and Tejas. 74. What is the significance of the 6 qualities Janana, Aishwarya, Sakti, Bala, Virya, and Tejas in Vyuhavad? Answer. They represent the ideal qualities in creation. 75. Which of the following figures is considered to be the highest god in Vyuhavad, from whose will the ideal qualities emanate? Answer. Para Vasudeva. 76. Which text clearly mentions the doctrine of Vyuhavad? Answer: Brahma Sutra. 77. In Vyuhavad, which of the following deities is associated with the emanations of Para Vasudeva? Answer: Samkarshan. 78. The identification of Vasudeva Krishna with Vishnu and Narayana is part of the reconciliation with which religious tradition? Brahmanism. 79. What was the main purpose of the reconciliation between Bhagavatism and Brahmanism? To protect Brahmanism against the spread of Buddhism.